So, for you watching the recording, we are about to try and implement a squeeze, thinking that East has lots of hearts and has to look after the Jack of Hearts. Because he has lots of hearts, West probably has the King of Spades, and nobody can look after the the club suit. So I think the safest line, because I do have a way back to hand, is to draw trumps first of all, just to make sure that nothing goes wrong. Um, Another trump, and what should I throw away? I need to keep three clubs. I don't have to keep four, and I don't have to keep any spades. Really, it's the Queen of Spades I need to keep. Okay, let's do another one. Go. So throw the spade, and I'm sure you'll throw a club. Um, when you throw a high card like that, it shows a strong sequence headed by the honor you've just gone and thrown away. So it guarantees Queen Jack 10 and probably Queen Jack 9, Queen Jack 10 9. And that's therefore probably the card that West would actually discard. Okay, so now I need to unblock my queen. So I'm going to cross over to the spade. There we go. No problem. I hope West has got the king because now I'm coming back to hand. Notice I don't do that by roughing the heart. That's a threat card. And if I rough it, it won't be there to be a threat. So I come back to hand. And now I'm in a position to execute my squeeze. So I just start playing off all of these remaining winners I have. So I imagine you'll throw a heart because that doesn't matter. And throw a club, throw a heart. Actually, I don't know. I might throw a club. Do another one. He'll throw another heart because he has to get the right. We're going to say, well, spades don't matter. And he'll probably throw another club. Actually, another one. Oh, this is so much fun. So got to keep that. So he has to go and throw a spade. And I'm still using my threat card. And as always in squeezes, that way, the magic moment is when you play off your last winner before the squeeze is executed. This is the moment when everybody should find it difficult to find discards. So you play the two, and well, East would like to look after the spades, but I don't know, Jack 10, they're not brilliant, no real problems. Okay, the 10 has done its job. I'm sure East is hanging on to the Jack of Hearts. I can afford to throw it away. And now, well, West wants to hang on to the King of Spades, and he knows he's got to hang on to the Jack and 10 of clubs. Whichever he discards, he's going to let the contract in. In practice, a good player will discard the King of Spades. He will hope that his partner has the Queen of Spades, and that by throwing the King of Spades away, he will not have let the contract in. He will see it's essential that he is the person looking after the club suit. So, as a strong player, it's likely the choice that he will make, but it does him no good. It would do him no good whatever he throws. But I can now cash my spade and, of course, cross over. But if you'd have thrown a club, I'd have just crossed over in clubs and cashed my two club tricks. So there we go, 920. And the morals here, well, first of all, you need better partners. If you're North, start playing with somebody who knows bidding a lot better than South does. Second thing is, when you do this hand, you go through all the, can I set up the spade suit? Well, no, there's just not enough entries. Can I set up something? And when that's the situation, then you should play for a squeeze. And if you'd have gone for a spade heart squeeze, which you could have tried that, it wouldn't have worked, but hey, at least you're playing for something. And if you know your squeezes really well and think, well, it's not very likely that he's got both cards, there was still a squeeze. And of course, that's why you practice all this squeeze technique to give you the options. So the thing to look out for in squeezes, you have all the tricks except one. So that's why we got the first trick. And we have to be in a position to cash the threat that doesn't have an entry. So that ace of spades definitely had to be unblocked so that the queen of spades could then be cashed if it turned into be a winner. And then after that, you just run all your winners and hope that the cards are where you place them to make your contract. On the first trick, is it always go? Well, you need to count up, Caroline. I mean, if actually you have 12 tricks and you're in 12, then you're always going to make it. And if you duck it, you'll only ever make 12. But um, but if you win the first one with 12 tricks, you may be able to make an over trick. And in match points, that might be life or death. So not always right. But when you have 11 tricks, you're wanting 12, then you do, for elementary squeezes, you do need to correct the counter. That means ducking. There are other squeezes where you don't duck. These are the squeezes where you play off loads of things, force somebody to throw away lots of winners that he would love to hang on to before you end play them to get a trick from the end play. But they're much rarer, those these throw-in squeezes. The elementary squeezes, simple squeezes, and double squeezes, they normally rely on having all the tricks except one. And that's the other question. I'm moving on to board number 2. Export to table. There we go. Okay, so it says pass, pass, 1 diamond, pass, 2 no trumps, pass. Okay. And I think I know who bid this. Yes, I do, but I'm not going to tell you. But I do know it was an ACL sequence. When this was played, East thought he was the opener. You, of course, would not open that hand. 4-3-3-3 hands normally are worth docking a point. I mean, they play terribly. Where do you develop your tricks from? The cards aren't so bad. Ace, Queen, but there's no extras to help you develop it. The 10 is nice, but it's only in a 3 card suit. And of course, Queens all on their own sum, they're not really valued properly at a 2 count. I put this into the Kaplan Rubin evaluator to check my theory. It came up with 10.3. And because people who think, well, I've got an 11 count, I'm going to open this, they end up in 3 no trumps with no play whatsoever, has been my experience. So do down value hands, which are 4-3-3-3, unless you have significant extra value in terms of tens and nines together, helping you develop the full card. So, okay, so 1 diamond was the opener, and 2 no trumps, of course, showed 10-11 with a diamond fit. So why Weston go back to diamonds? I'm not sure. I would have gone back to diamonds, but there we go. So the lead was the Jack of Hearts, which is, I guess, one of the, I mean, it certainly is the strongest suit. There's always a question when you lead against no trump contracts. If you lead your really good suit, you have more chances of setting it up and developing it to get tricks your way. But of course, because you're leading from high cards, you are also more likely to be giving a trick away because you can see here the Queen of Hearts may well not make a trick at all if you didn't decide to go and lead the Jack of Hearts. And my tendency, I don't know really whether it's just me or whether it is good advice, but certainly I go for more passive leads than actively. In from this, given since I've got another good 5 card suit in the space suit, I probably would have led the spade rather than committing myself to maybe gifting a trick away. Anyway, that was the lead chosen at the table. And of course, we have indeed gifted a trip to East. And this is now an easy hand if you, as surely you all do, count your winners and tricks to see how many tricks you have, how many tricks you need, and then where can you get them from. So you've got one trick already. You got another trick. The Ace of Hearts has two, and four diamond tricks for certain gives you six. And well, there could easily be one in the club suit. All you need is the ace or the king on the side, and there could be one in the spade suit. Certainly, there's one in the spade suit. So I'm definitely going to come to seven tricks, just in the diamonds, the ace of hearts, and the king and queen of spades. So where do I go for my last trick? And this is where it's so easy to say, well, the easy suit to go and play in is clubs. I just lead to the jack of clubs, and then I come back and I lead to the other, and I have a 76% chance that the that one of those two clubs is on side, and I will romp home in this contract. And then you stop looking for other plays. But there is a much better play because of the lead. The lead, you see, almost guarantees. I don't know anybody who would lead Jack Doubleton, and leading Jack from Jack Small Small is it's an incredibly poor play. So I believe firmly that that Jack of Hearts promises the 10. I've no idea if it promises the king, but I am totally convinced that it promises the 10. And if it promises the 10, I have a guaranteed 100% insured at Lloyd's trick in the heart suit. All I have to do, I don't even have to play the nine, but let's play the nine. You see, the 10 is if the 10 comes up, I'm just going to beat it. And who knows what he'll play? Probably a diamond. Um, and now I just play another heart, and lo and behold, I have set up a heart. I've set up an extra heart for them, but I don't care because sooner or later we're all going to play on the spades, and what we do, it probably doesn't be thrown in. It's a bad idea to keep too many clubs. You'll probably throw a club. So here, and actually, I don't even know what South will do because he's got no entry. Yes, he can set up a club trick, a heart trick, sorry, but how does he get back in to go and cash that heart trick if he sets it up? So he may well switch to a spade at this point. But as I said, that's likely sooner or later. This is their best suit. But hey, I'm running away with this contract now because I've got three tricks already. What should I throw away? I don't know, I'll throw it there. I've got four more tricks in diamonds. Um, is that right? That's I got three tricks already. Wish I could count. I was just telling somebody what I used to be before I started doing bridge. Hard to believe, isn't it, Terry? But there we go. We have three tricks already. We have four more in diamonds, and of course, I'm going to cross over in diamonds to be in a position to cash my 10 of hearts. So that will be one of those three more diamonds, and to save a lot of time, I will claim three more tricks. No, I'll claim four more tricks. So the And of course, this is here because when I watched it, Declarer indeed, because they led Hearts, didn't even consider Hearts as a suit to play. They looked around, they saw the excellent chance in and this is a real hand. They saw the excellent chance in clubs, so they just played on the clubs. And sadly, although it was a 76% chance, it did not work in this instance. Well, 76% is good, but nowhere near as good as 100%. And I reckon that Jack of Hearts made a continuing heart 100% line to to bring the contract in. You need one more trick, and you've got it for certain um, in the heart. So, everybody happy with that one? Lovely. Okay, moving on to the next now. Table. Okay. So, I remember thinking I should get rid of all this. This was the real auction that followed at the table. Um, South opened 2-no trumps, and North South did an erudite puppet Stayman session. Do you have a major? Yes, I have a major. Is it the heart suit? No, it isn't the heart suit. And eventually, after discovering that they didn't fit in the majors, they end up in 3-no trumps. I remember thinking, I shouldn't waste people's time. I should make it 3-no trumps and just tell everybody that. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe knowing that South has four spades, knowing that North has four hearts, maybe it's relevant to the actual. I cannot remember now. But the auction did involve looking for majors, and I'm just cutting it short by jumping to 3-no trumps. Okay, so the lead is the obvious one of the Queen of Clubs. And um, well, it's not a nice hand, is it? Um, I have a very adventurous partner to go on with the 4-3-3-3 fork. So okay, well, maybe I was vulnerable. Vulnerable games only have to make 37.5% of the time. So you actually show a profit even if you bid hands that you are slightly more likely to go down in. So maybe because I reproduced this hand in position 3 in the tournament. So, but it may have been vulnerable, and maybe that explains why North would carry on with such an appalling hand. Okay, so what do we do? Well, we count our tricks. I have 1-2 in clubs, 3-4 in diamonds, 5 in hearts, and 6 in spades. So I'm going to need um well, let me think. I'm missing the king. I won't make them all in the diamond suit. I'm probably going to need to set up a diamond, even if the finesse loses. I would have 3 diamond tricks. That would bring me one closer. 3 diamonds, two clubs of 5, ace, hearts for 6, ace of spades, and then I would only need 2 spade tricks. So I'm going to win in dummy and take a finesse. And it would be normal here, by the way, for East to unblock the 10. So West shouldn't be reasonably certain that he should be leading away from the club later on. Okay, what do we do? Do we take the spade finesse? We're going to do it sooner or later. Or do we take the diamond finesse? Because we do need a trick in diamonds. Well, the answer is the diamond finesse allows you to stay in dummy or get back to dummy to enabling you to do another finesse. If I go and do 4 of spades, and I mean, if I get it right here, um, I cannot get back now to dummy to go and take the diamond finesse. I have to go and lead away from the diamond. So if I go and lead the diamond, on the other hand, come on, go back. Lovely. If I lead the diamond, to some extent, it doesn't matter whether this wins or loses, because East will probably duck it, and I find I stay in dummy with the Jack of Diamonds, enabling me to do more finesses. But you say to me, suppose it had lost. Suppose West had turned up with the Queen of Diamonds. Well, then I could get back to dummy. If West had the Queen of Diamonds, he wouldn't be able to play clubs. Ooh, I'm not sure how well I do if he switches to hearts, but even so, he will win. And I can get back to dummy with the 10 of diamonds to take another finesse. And that's why it's right to go and play on the diamonds first, because I get that finesse and I get a chance at another one. So, which other one do I want to do? Well, there's no longer any diamond finesses. I mean, either diamonds are 3-3. or the 10 will be covered and the 9 or the 8 will become a winner. So I'm definitely now going to play on the spades. What do we lead? Well, of course, you never lead the 10 here. By giving up the value of the 10, it doesn't matter who's got the jack. Someone's going to put the jack on the 10 and ruin its value to me. So it's definitely right to play the 9 and then take the correct finesse down below. So what's the right finesse? Well, you and I would know what it is. We should go and play the Queen of Spades. East has the king, but you're not allowed to know that. So you have to think things through. So first of all, what if the spades are 3-3? Well, then I just have to be lucky. If the jack is on the right, I need to play the 9, and that'll force out the king. If the king is on the right, then I need to play the queen, and then I can continue playing the other suits. So that's if it's 3-3. It doesn't really matter in the sense that I can't improve my chances above guessing the 9 or guessing the queen. So what about when they're 4-2? If East has both the king and the queen, king and the jack, again, it hardly matters what I do. If West has the king and the jack, everything's going to be wrong for me. I'm more interested in the well above 50% chance that there is a doubleton of some sort, a doubleton honor in this 4-2 break. Now, if there is a doubleton honor, the only one that gains is the doubleton jack, because when I take the finesse, I can continue then with the ace. Yeah, it worked, but more than that, I can continue with the ace and drop that honor. Okay. Now, if I'd have finessed the 9, it lost to the king. If that had been doubleton king, I would still have lost to jack to 4. But because I finessed the queen, I was able to play the ace and drop a doubleton on her. And so that puts me in a position where I can play. Probably hope partner gets in and plays a club, I think. So I'd probably play that. So now, because I played for this extra chance, I've managed to set up my 9 of spades as a winner. So I'm home now. They're going to continue playing the clubs through me, but um, I no longer care. I've got 3 aces, I've got the king of diamonds, and I've got a winning spade. That's 5 more tricks. And so, although they're probably going to get in and start running things, I'm just going to run for home and take my 5 tricks. Here's my claim coming up. 5 tricks. Sorry. Um, the one about the spades is fairly erudite in a way. I quite sympathise if you decide to finesse the 9 of spades. Um, you can see it doesn't work. It's say if you swap those two over, the 9 would lose to the king, but you still will lose a trick to the jack of spades later on. You can't get back to dummy. So you have to play as ace of spades, queen of spades, and there. So that's why the queen of spades was the right card. But that is fairly erudite. But the one about playing the jack of diamonds first, because you can get back and take another finesse. Now that happens a lot of the time. So you should take special notice of that play. By leading the jack of diamonds, I take not only one finesse, but I give myself another finesse as well. Lead the spade first, and that's it. I've done my finesse, and now I have to play everything. So that was board 3. And I'm not reading any comments, so I'm going to move on to board 4. Okay. So this is an easy one. 1 heart. And North decided to double. Questionable, really. I don't mean probably maybe it's much stronger than it looks because the opponents have bid hearts and his spades are reasonably good. So actually, although double shows a much higher point count than he's actually got, I'm quite in favour of doubling and then bidding the spades to try and gin the partner up to try and get into the auction. Tudor Trump is what's called the Jordan Truscott Convention, and it after a double, since you would redouble if you actually had natural two-no trump values to sort of say I want to try and punish them, the two-no trump is quite commonly used to show a good raise to at least three hearts and maybe more. So two-no trumps have a good raise in hearts. I should have alerted it, but you'll forgive me. And four hearts. And now, uh, well, now North really has to stop being so chicken because he did this thinking he has a really good hand, and he does. He really has to bid four spades here and stop doubting himself. He actually passed at the table. It was so sad. Okay. So good start, but failed to follow through. They do, if you notice, if East leads a heart against four spades, the ace of hearts can be used to throw away a diamond. You can take the spade finesse, which works, and they can take two diamonds. Yeah, they're actually making four spades on a heart lead. Of course, he plays other leads, maybe it doesn't make, but you just go to show how, first of all, that North was right to value his hand up and that he was wrong to lose heart simply because he said he has a good hand. Well, it's a good hand in hearts, not in spades. Come on, then. What are we going to do? We're going to try and defeat this contract by leading the King of Clubs. Okay. So I guess we follow suit and we show an odd number. And well, West is playing this, so the East hand is on view. I think it's fairly natural to continue with the ace or queen of clubs, depending on what your agreement is with partner. So another club. Okay, now we have our first choice. Well, we have plenty of trumps, really, so I think we can afford to rough this. There's only four trumps missing after all. Now, I don't really want to go and throw a spade away and then they're going to play another club and still I have to go and throw the. So I'm definitely going to rough this. And now, well, I'm going to draw trumps. And once I've drawn trumps, I will play the diamond suit and throw away all my losing spades. So I've got king, queen, jack of spades. If the hearts are breaking, the king or queen will drive out the ace. The remaining two honors would draw the remaining trumps. So I only have to worry about can somebody actually have a four card heart suit? Because if they're 3-2 or 2-2, I'm just romping home and making, well, probably all the remaining tricks except one. So, can anybody have four hearts? Well, I don't believe it can be North. North, after all, was the person who doubled. And he's only played on the club suit, but even so, if he had four hearts and he doubled to show he had short hearts, he must have a really powerful hand. And it's hard to believe that South, with no hearts whatsoever, decided he couldn't make a bid. I mean, like he's got 13 cards that not in hearts and nevertheless how to make a bid. So I believe if anybody's got four hearts, it's actually going to be South. So, well, if South's got them, it looks pretty dire, but is it dire? What am I missing? I'm missing the ace, 10, 8, and the 4. Well, if I obviously I had played the Queen of Hearts first, I can pick up the 10 in the North hand, but I'd say I don't think North has got four hearts. So what I need to do is use the king to drive out the ace, and then I'm left with the queen, jack, seven. And that's excellent. The queen, jack, seven over the 10 of the eight. I will be able to finesse against South and pick up the suit. So the right thing to do is to play a heart to the king, which I presume he will lose to the ace. And then I now know he's got four hearts. So now back comes a club. Interesting. Right. Okay. I'll come back to this point. Clearly, you don't want to shorten your trumps, given that you need them to finesse against this person. Um, so it's a bit sad because I thought I was going to make all, but let's throw that card away. And now, if they continue clubs, I can rough the club in the east hand and still do all the finessing that I want to go and do. So I'm not sure whether South will. Oh, have I gone wrong here? I think I have. Let me play a sensible one. Okay, so it's North on lead, but I've set it up so if another club comes through, I can rough it and still keep loads of finessing of the heart suit. I don't know. Will he do that anyway? He might do it. Diamonds don't look very attractive. Certainly leading away from the. He may lead the king of spades. That might be a clever play. Let's do that. See what happens. And you can see now I can play the nine cover. Take my first finesse. Crossing the diamond. Queen and diamond. Take my second finesse. Whether he covers or not, it doesn't make a difference really. I am going to finesse against him. I'm going to draw the last trump, and now I've got all these divers to run, and I can claim the contract. So I will play it again. So I'll claim because I have somebody in the background who always goes on to me when I don't claim enough. So I'm claiming Sanya. All right, right, okay. So let me put it back up again to mention something. Show double dummy export to the table. Okay. Okay, so the contract was four hearts. And pass, pass, pass. And the lead was an impeccable club. And followed up by surely a correct second. We play a club heart, sorry, to cater for the fair. And when the club, oh yeah, sorry about that. Okay, when the club came back, we realised that we should at least rough it, and we decided not to rough ourselves. But I watched somebody who did rough, and now they're actually two down in this contract by losing control in that way. They can't take any finesses anymore, so they played off the um, two rounds of trumps and played the jack and play that one, another one, and then they started playing on the diamond suit, and um, North should be trying to give his partner count here. Certainly, you give current count is the standard system. So if you play the eight at this point and then a low one later on, you're letting your partner know, well, you're going to see it anyway, aren't you? You get the ace of diamonds. Now, what I noticed about this one was that South really should realize that the diamonds are now dead. Partner's got a doubleton diamond, so Others, if you let him just keep cashing diamonds, he will throw away all the significant losers. So um, uh, it is the normal thing to do is to rough in at this point and then start playing your own suits. The spade suit, normal to lead the spades through the queen, and then partner can continue cashing. And you will come to two more tricks, the nine of hearts and the ace. What South did, though, was decide that she had to go and keep the 10 to draw the trump. And very often, this is a mistake. Yes, you set up the heart in dummy, but hey, you stop declarer running this long diamond suit, throwing away all the losers. So if you rough in on the third round of diamonds, then you will defeat the contract. The line followed of allowing these two more diamond tricks to be cashed led to the contract making, which I found very sad. I mean, I will say West had done well to lead to the King of Hearts in the first time round. Don't forget, West had to do even better to then discard when a third round of clubs was played. Anyway, so this one I'm going to claim. Well, I've yet to. I'm going to rough this and claim two down. So, yeah, all right. I've got two more tricks. Yeah. And no, oh, maybe I should know that a baby. Right. We missed. What? Did I? Ah, uh, this split personality of yours worries me. Um, um, it's good fun. Sport. And this is yet another real hand. So far, I think they've all been real hands. I think the last three are from a magazine. I needed three more to complete the set. And this was an actual auction. It was 2/1, a system I love um, because you always find the right contract if you play 2/1. So one club because you're not allowed to bid your suits, and four spades, giving West a difficult decision. And you've probably all discussed this because you played 2/1, and no doubt these things happen all the time. Personally, I would think that five spades by West would show a control in spades and invite seven clubs. I think five no trumps would have its normal meaning of pick a slam, whatever your best suit is. And I think six clubs says, I reckon six clubs is definitely the right place to play. Which I'm not sure, given that this could even be a two card. Well, I suppose actually West East is unlikely to have four spades, but it could easily be the wrong place to play if East has four hearts, as here. So five no trump, pick a slam, six hearts would have been a more relaxing affair for East West. But the bid chosen was six clubs. I would love to know what my friend close. I played a lot with East, and my problems that I'm always crashing out these days as me play with him less than I used to. But he really is a very good player. And the next person decided they could double because this is a misfit and you're clearly out of your depth. So what I'll do now, the lead is, well, you don't want to lead away from the spades, of course, so you can lead, and you don't want to lead a trump and pick the trumps up. So, and who knows, maybe partner's got the ace of hearts. So that's the lead chosen. And I'm sure East thoughts are utter horror. But the first thing was, what has East doubled on? And if he's doubled because he has the king of diamonds, then maybe he's doubled on a four-card club suit. Um, Maybe as well he has a spade void, and although South would have a very large number of spades for a spade void. So his first thought anyway was, well, let's hopefully run this around to my queen, and let's find out about the king of diamonds. So he played the diamond covered one with the ace, and this now made him think further about, well, what on earth did North double on? A double rather says you don't want a spade lead, I think. I'm not sure. But anyway, my friend decided he doubled on either five or six clubs because what else can North possibly have? So, how can we make the contract if he's got six clubs? Well, I suspect you can't. Six clubs is just a bit too much to deal with. And North did lead what looks like a singleton heart. So maybe it's a five card club suit, he thought. And he decided that that was what he was going to play for. Well, you'll need to run loads of diamond tricks and you'll need to run loads of heart tricks. And you can't do that if South does have a club. So the next thing he did was played um, a club to the king. Might put the eight in there, I don't know. And now he's had no more trumps. The idea is to cash many red suit winners and then play from dummy so you could over off North with the king of clubs, which you've kept, and also try and throw him in at the end because you've got the ace and ten of clubs. So hopefully you can exit on something and come to two more tricks in the club suit. So first of all, he played on I think it was the diamond suit. So how many winners we've got here, and then the jack. Oh, he's pleased to see that everybody's following. And now what do we throw? Got to be careful here. Um, there's only two hearts left out. If you go and throw a spade, then you're definitely going to have one of your hearts rough. So the card to throw isn't a spade because you can rough those in dummy anyway. The card to throw is actually a heart to enable you to rough the heart suit. So he then continued with the heart to the jack and the nine of hearts back again. And now he's in a position to cash. No, no, there we go. To cash another heart, or depending what North does. I mean, if North throws a spade, well, now you really have no trouble with this contract because you can play the two of spades, rough the, and now what you do is, as planned, the exit card to get the lead away from the jack of clubs in the north hand. So if he plays a spade at that point, he goes down. So the obvious thing to do is not to play a spade then, to go and play a club. And that actually makes no difference to the outcome. We have to over rough that, or the bit giant. And now he's kept a spade, so I can actually rough a spade. And now I can do the same exit, but this time with a heart. And of course, North has to lead away from his clubs. And so we get two more tricks. So that was how my friend played it. Yes, North actually doubled. Hmm? Yeah. It was in a match. I think it was the Intercity League, if memory serves me well. And David is my friend in the East League. He plays ACOL with me because I don't like these bids that don't show suits. But I guess North just thought with five clubs he just certainly had two, and partner probably's got the ace of spades. I'm not sure. Perhaps they were behind in the match, but certainly East used the double to work out what he had in the sense of, well, it's got to be a long club suit. So those of you who started by drawing trumps, I do think that's counterindicated. When there's no other explanation for the double except long trumps, try and do what David did of cashing winners and then over roughing, throwing him in, that sort of plan.
Very clever.
David's a very clever person.
Oh, I'm sure he is, Alan, yes. Good evening, everybody.
Right, moving on to board six.
Good evening, Sanya. I'm sorry I lost my broadband for a little while. And it took me a while. I'm not sure what happened, but flashing lights here, there, and everywhere. Seems to be all right again now.
Okay, so the pass out position, of course, is always different because of the inferences of what you've got, and also the fact that you're encouraged to come in on quite low value hands to stop them playing at the one level in their favorite suit. So North decided very reasonably, I think, that he was just too strong to bid just one heart. I don't know how two hearts is. Two heart shows in ACOL a sort of six card suit, normal opening hand in the sort of 11 to 13 region. Three hearts, I suspect, is a preempt. Four hearts, maybe. Anyway, starting with a double and then bidding hearts was the way North decided to go. East bid his second suit. Again, not my choice because once partner passes, I don't really expect to play the contract. So I normally tend to leave things alone. It is interesting what South did. Um, until recently, maybe the last few years, ever since my childhood, which was ages ago, people used to play double as penalties after partners made a double. And the reason for this is because psyching was so common, especially in majors afterward. So if it went um, uh, one club double, somebody would go and bid one spade because they had a singleton spade and they wanted to get in the way of your auction, pretend that they had the spade suit. So because of that, people then said, okay, then we'll use the double to say, no, 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 I've got the spade suit partner. And a bid of two spades wasn't a Q bid. It said, I've really got the spade suit partner. I've got five or more of them. And similarly, and here, one spade, pass, pass, double, one anything by East could have been a psych, and people would play the double to say, I've actually got the clubs. Don't be. This is our suit. No problem. I'm going for it. Now, psyching has gone out of fashion, and more, I've also read in the magazines, more and more people are giving up the double as a let's reveal this psych maneuver, and more as the sort of hand that South has, where he's got values and he wants to go and show that he's got something, but there's nothing definitive that he really wants to go and bid to say, I live in this suit. So it certainly is becoming the modern style to play double in the sort of old-fashioned sense, really, of responsive doubles. I have the other two suits, but no preference of what to do. Anyway, North took it as values, and he was always keen to go to game, so this convinced North to jump to four. And there's more than one way of playing this contract, but let me tell you the straightforward way. The lead is a club, so um, eh, and you count up your tricks, and you got lots of them, but you need some tricks out of the diamond suit. Trust me, I'll let you do the counting, and you're going to draw trumps, and then start playing to set yourself up some diamond tricks. So let's just do that without slowing you down by actually doing the counting. Ace and king of trumps. And this one's break 2-2, which is excellent. So I can go and take a finesse in the diamonds. And well, the natural thing is to try and use my 9 and 8 as well. So I'm going to play the 9 and I'm going to run it. And it loses to the check. And of course, what they play back isn't clubs, was in fact, don't forget, West knows that East has 5 spades and 4 clubs. So starting with 4 clubs, West knows there are no more club tricks. So he's going to play the original suit led by this one. And it's at this point that you have a divergence of how to make the hand. The natural thing to do is to use the same knowledge that East has a 5 card spade suit, because if so, what you certainly don't want to do is the following: you don't want to go and do um, uh, sort of run it round, cross back to my hand by roughing a heart, that's a club, that's a heart, and then taking another diamond finesse, because A, you know, is going to lose. After all, East has already turned up with a promise of 5 spades, a promise of 4 clubs, and a doubleton heart. So there's no chance that the finesse is going to win. But worse, if you go and take it, you get another spade. If you take it,
trick,
maybe win it with the king, right? And back comes a spade through your king, and you are going down in this contract. So what can you do about it? Well, one of two things actually. The one that I saw um, was to not to run this around to the Queen of Spades, because that sets up this problem of a second spade coming through. So actually, my thought was to play the King of Spades, and now he can't dock it because then your Queen of Spades is to stop. So he'll win and play another spade, but that will clear you of the risk in the space suit, because if East has 5, West has no more, and well, again, you could use the fact that you know East, but even if you're not thinking and you just play across to your heart and take a must be losing diamond finesse, you're still okay, because you're going to rough any club return, cross to dummy on the 10 of hearts, and your 2 diamonds are going to deal with the losing spade. So I thought that was rather a nice play to
circumvent that difficulty.
But there is another one, and that is again using this knowledge that um, East has. Uh, is that what I did? Yes, I played the king. But let's suppose we just go and duck it, sort of setting up the what looks like a losing position for us. But don't forget, we know that East has a Doubleton diamond. Remember, bid a five-card spacesuit, bid a club suit, turned up with two hearts. He either got one diamond or no diamond. So, what the brilliant jock Blue Bayou did was, I forget the order he did things in. I think I roughed a club first. Yeah, I'm sure he did. Right, and there's a club. And then he played a diamond. Of course, the finesse is known to be losing, so nobody's got a jock would ever take the finesse, but it's going to be losing. Then he roughed another club. Really nice, this. And yeah, roughed it there. And then he exited on the King of Spades, knowing that although East can cash a spade, then he wouldn't be able to play a diamond uh, to allow the King of Diamonds to be taken. So sure enough, East had to go and give a rough and discard. So away went the.
No, no, diamond, that's it.
So I thought that was beautiful, nice as well. I thought both plays are lovely. One of them rising with the king to cause him to take his ace early and then block the suit later on, and the other one realizing that because you know his distribution, you could strip the clubs and throw them in. So I like both of those plays. I think it's really good.
I played it differently.
Did you? What did you? Oh yes, you went and played across to the king of spades early. Yeah. When I gave it to you to see what you would do. But okay, everybody happy with the option you have? You do. Moving on to board 7.
Have you saved that, Alan?
Oh no, did I not save it?
I don't know,
I get
but
so told that I can't tell you how much I claim too much. Claim too much stories on you. Hmm. Okay, I wish you saved. Does it matter, Sanya? Or three ways? Do you want to play it again and save it the other way? You mean if it's saved, they will be able to play it through on the on the Accos on the Ajax site? Yes, but I do. I put the board 6 in again. They follow the video. Board 6.
it'll be on the video. They won't need to replay it, but they can see what you do on a video.
All right. So I will do export to the table. Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is a full heart contract after a one spade opener. And I can't be bothered. Pass, pass, pass. Pass, pass. Leaves the king of clubs. We draw 2 rounds of trumps. And we're delighted to find it breaks. We take a diamond finesse. And this time I rise with the king. And I think if I play the ace and the jack back, I think that's probably sufficient. And yeah, maybe not. I'll do the club rough. And now another diamond finesse. And I think it's clear that that all right, Sanya?
Got enough tricks now.
Don't I? I got 2 diamonds. I can throw away the spade. All right, club, I rough the thing, diamond, and then throw away my spade. Yeah, claim all the remaining tricks. Contract making. And I've saved it twice. And the only difference about what Colin did, he saw the problem, so he actually crossed to dummy early. I think he used a heart to do it, and he played to the king of spades early on to go and cut East off. So the same idea of playing the king of spades early to cut East off, so he couldn't ever get them. Okay, moving on to board 7. Table. Yeah, I messed up on the auction on this one, I'm afraid, folks. So pass, 1.5, two spades. And the auction, I'll give you the auction I gave you, but three spades. I think that's probably right. Pass. Um, Again, I'll give you the auction I gave you, four spades. Pass. And what's going on here is this actually, I believe, is a magazine here. And um, the auction was quite long and with at least three more rounds. And I thought, well, I don't really want everybody just to going through, click on this, click on this. I've got to wait for everybody. So I thought I'll cut out some of the bids. Unfortunately, I'm not sure I cut out the first one. I think I've got the start right. One heart, two spades was but three spades, of course, is a general fitting heart slam try. I'm not sure it has to be a splinter. Um, and of course, West would bid four diamonds as a he wouldn't go past his ace of diamonds to bid four spades. So whatever I did, I just managed to cut out what is for. It let me undo it to a more sensible auction, and even this is really shorter than it should be. Right, all right. If I bid four diamonds, Caroline, would that make you happier? Oh dear, to me, please, my screen gets covered in yellow when I go back. There you go. That would be a more reasonable, not four spades. I mean, why on earth would you not cubid your ace of diamonds in order to go and cubid your ace of spades? So, and then I say, actually, I'm sure it went into Blackwood and then more than that. So, I'll just bid six hearts to get this over with. So that at least would be a more reasonable auction. But I say, I do believe Blackwood was used in other things. Anyway, there we go. And so how's this gone? A try there. Well, this one they haven't shown. I say I my experience of when people bid slams is I never have a spade trick unless I own the ace. Um, I suppose it's just possible spades are 2-2 and starting on the diamonds with a suit like Queen Jack 10-8 might actually be a much better lead. Anyway, the Queen of Spades is what the indicated lead is. And well, let's have a go. As ever, we count our tricks and we have six heart tricks, spade for seven, like rough a spade as well. That's in the short suit, that would be eight. And I have two diamonds for 10 and the ace of clubs for 11. So I've got to go and set up a trick in the club suit. Um, I can even afford to lose a trick in the club suit, providing I set one up eventually and use it to go and throw away the three of diamonds. So I see no harm in starting that plan. So the ace. It's wrong, of course, to rough your spade straight away. If we're talking about setting the club suit up, um, well, I want entries to the east hand to go and lead clubs for me to rough them, and therefore taking out one of my entries by roughing a spade is not what I want. I want to rough it eventually to gain a trick, but I certainly don't want to do it at this point. So I'm going to draw a couple of rounds of trumps, maybe three if no, they've broken. So I want to stay in this hand. And do I unblock? I can go either way if I unblock. I don't think it matters. I think I'm going to follow small. Okay. And he goes and throws away the diamond. And now we're going to start paying the cards. As ever, do not lead your nine if you have high cards and you lead them, it will always get covered by something. It will never have any value if you lead it. So whenever you lead the nine, it's because you have the eight and the seven, or the cards underneath it. You have the eight, but you don't have the seven. So you should just lead a small one to see what happens. And then something interesting does happen because it's hard to believe when I own the nine that North is playing the 10 unless North has a singleton or unless North has the king and the 10. And either way, I can improve my chances of the contract by not taking a finesse. If I take a finesse and that is a singleton, well, then they're going to start beating all my cards. The queen will lose. Okay, the ace of clubs will win, but they'll have the king, the jack, and the seven. They will be able to beat all my cards. What I can do to improve my chances is to rise with the ace and use that nine of clubs, which I so carefully kept, because I said never waste any cards. If I go and play back towards it, now I will force them to use up one of their honors. I hope it's the king. I'd like to believe that it goes small nine, king from north, and now I've got my extra trick with the queen down below, and I'm going to make my contract. But if it was a singleton, notice that because I've used the nine to drive out one of their honors, I am in a position now of strength with my queen and eight. I've used the nine to promote that eight into a useful card. So it does not matter what South does. He may play a spade back, dream on, no tricks there. Lead the queen, well, I'll probably cover that, and I'll rough that, and those are useless, aren't they? And now I can cross to the king of diamonds, and you can see I've got the winner I needed to discard my loser. So this is all about appreciating the value of these medium high cards. It's quite amazing how often in real life um, tens, nines, eights turn out to be significant. So, indeed, it's quite rare. I see an average player with a 10 who cannot resist leading it to make absolutely sure it never ever takes a trick, but it gets beaten by the opposition. Whenever you've got these sorts of holdings, try and hang on to it, unless it's blocking the suit. Try and hang on to it to use its power later and say here, especially when that six is led, and North has got lots of spades, he's quite likely to be short in a suit somewhere. So when that 10 jumps up, well, it could be he's almost psychic and he's covering the nine with the king 10 8, but it's honestly odds against. And he has got a long suit. It's odds are you can just keep roughing your club suit and rough it out. So look at these cards played by the opponents, have a think about what it's showing you, and then don't just make an automatic play of, well, I'm going to finesse the queen, because you have other better options, especially here using that nine to strengthen your suit. And so, because I've actually sent that to Sanya already, I can move on to board 8. Okay, so this is another um, protected position. And again, I think you're reasonably strong for a protected bid, but you're not super strong. So, and I believe a jump to two hearts shows 6 card suit. So I think you bid one heart and just hope that that's going to be. You need partners to have something anyway. You've got quite a lot of losers. Um, And indeed, our partner does have something. And the two club bid here is artificial. And two clubs says, well, I have a good hand. It shows at least 10 high card points, and I am perfectly happy playing in the heart suit. So that delights South, of course. So South finishes the auction with a four heart bid. And here we are in four heart. So West starts off with a club and Norm to play another club. And then he has a choice, really. And this is a magazine hand. I think it's a bit unsure here. What's the best thing to do? He's actually quite risky switching to diamonds. Switching to diamonds is the sort of thing where Declarer's got the Jack and ten of diamonds, and you managed to set up the additional trick needed. At the moment, you if Declarer did have Jack and ten, you can cover them and play button and have the Queen. Um, Playing a spade isn't silly, but I can't see the advantage of it. And having four hearts is wonderful. What you normally try to do when you've got a stack on a contract is to try and make Declarer use up his trumps by roughing things so that Declarer will lose control. And then it's you who's got the last trump, and you come in and run your club suit or maybe your king, queen of diamonds. So I find the king of diamonds sort of poisonously attractive. I suspect is the wrong thing to do. Spades and hearts are clearly wrong, but the queen of clubs has a disadvantage. It will set up the 10 in dummy. But what you can do is quite clever. This is an attempt to promote your trump suit because hopefully partner can ruff this once. And so now the jack of clubs in dummy isn't useful, and you are doing what you should be doing when you've got a trump stack, trying to play on your long suit to make Declarer use up his trumps to give you control. Well, you can see that it doesn't really give you control if Declarer goes and roughs with the nine. He can actually draw your trumps, but he's still going to go down. And that's because, shall I show you? Why not? I'm going to play this and play another one. Play a spade. Play another one. And play a diamond. And I think he's got to go and throw. What do I throw? What diamonds he uses? And I've got to keep the spades going. Okay, so now the problem is, of course, that I can't play ace of spades, queen of spades, overtake with a spade to cash my last winner, nor can I play ace of spades, queen of spades, jack of spades, and cross to dummy because I don't have anything to cross with. I used up my trump, and when I went and roughed that third round of clubs, and now as a result, I'm in a position where I don't have the entries to make the contract. So let's undo a bit. I think this is very hard to see, but maybe not, because it's always a good idea to have long trumps. So when that club was roughed on the third round, I'm waiting for all these yellow bars to go away here. You really don't have to go and use up your fifth trump. Um, it's unlikely that trumps are breaking badly, but there again, it doesn't cost you to protect against it by throwing away a losing trick, which is a loser anyway, and playing to bring in your five hearts and four spades and ace of diamonds. Now East, who's on lead, cannot hurt you. Um, Not sure what he would do, to be honest. I suppose he might. Oh, I know what he would do. The three is also a suit preference. When your partner goes leads a low card for you to riff, he's suggesting you play back a low card to him. I think if West had a void in spades, he would have been leading the nine of clubs to say, if you rough this and get in, play a high ranked suit back. I want to go and have a spade. So the three of clubs really asks for a diamond, and that's probably what he would lead. No need to overtake. But you can see now with the extra trump, I just have no problems, even with the bad trump break. I can, just as last time, draw all the trumps. The difference this time is that I've got an entry to return to hand and cash that king of spades. So by throwing a loser on a loser earlier, I've kept that valuable additional card. Now I can cash my spades in dummy. And you can see, shall I play it through? There we go, then I'll cross that and cash it. it. I can't claim anymore. Is that all right? Sanya, right? I didn't have to claim, did I? That's good enough. I played it through. Okay, so this is an old chestnut in a way that when you've got modest or reasonable trump console, always think about, do I have to go and rough or can I keep my roughing card and throw useless one? And this is really is straightforward because you've got nine, 10 tricks, right? You've got five hearts, four spades, and the ace of diamonds, and you always have a losing diamond. Even if you use the spade to throw a diamond from dummy, there's still nothing you can do about not losing a diamond. So, although one's instinct is to rough, normally when they sort of play this sort of game that forces you to eat into your trumps, have a look if you have to. Can you just throw a card that's a loser anyway? And can you save and start over? I can't save it anymore, Sonia. What do you want me to do? Play the whole thing through until the last card and then save it? Claim it?
I think she was talking about an earlier example, Andrew.
Oh, an earlier example. Right.
I don't think that's
Not
valid.
right. Okay, so it's not valid. So say, always have a look, and when it's rarely right to shorten the long trumps in your hand. If you have a loser anyway, it may be neutral. It may be, I mean, trumps might have broken 3-2. It might have been that you could rough with a nine, draw three, and still make the contract. But why do that when you're going to lose a diamond anyway? Throw the diamond, increase your chances because you kept that length in your.
This is one of those situations, Alan, where if you play it through in your head, you can appreciate that you are going to have a problem coming back to the fourth spade if the trumps break badly. So, as you say, it doesn't cost you anything to ditch the diamond rather than roughing. You're going to lose it anyway.
So, okay, well, that's it, folks. Colin will be the next week. I think I have one more set of hands, and then after that, Sandy will have to produce some. So, right. Can I stop recording, Sanya? You're welcome to it, right? Stopping the recording? No, that's share. Okay. Hmm. Must be under more. will stop